Hey, I'm Mutterbump, and I want you to make tabletop games. That's the whole premise of this video, is that I just want you to make tabletop games. Now, even though I've made a lot of games, and there are a lot of more nuanced and more intelligent people than me about making tabletop games, I do want to show you what I have made so far. So to give you a little background on me is that I do make stuff for tabletop games. That was a match for dice. These are actually a version of dice that I call novelty dice, called flat chances. This is a deck of cards with modular faces, so that way you can create your own plans on the go, maps on the go. I created this deck 6 years ago, and recently added the novelty dice card to it, so that way you can also use that. I created the novelty dice TCG. I have a password and cipher cards. I created a music learning book, basic music notes. I've created a puzzle book where you fill in this and then use it to decipher what this is. I made a compilation of my frac plots, my fractal ink plots, into a book. The first thing I made was the listening playlist, which is a board game where you improvise various podcasts. And you basically have a group of people who basically make up, even if they don't know what a podcast is, you just basically tell them to improvise what they assume what a podcast is. My fractal ink blots, I turned into their own deck. So each one of these has unique cards that can be blended together. So they all have the same back card, but the front-facing card is different, and it's all the fractal ink blots that I've made. I'm telling you all this because I want you to make tabletop games. Nobody taught me how to do this. I invested a lot of time and effort into, not a lot of time, just casual time while I was working to make these games. I made this with Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Elements, and then published it through the Game Crafter. These are made through Adobe Elements. This was made through GIMP, because I didn't feel safe using Elements Adobe anymore. So I switched over and learned how to use GIMP. With my TCG, my fractal ink blot, flat chances, These are made with GIMP and Inkscape. I learned how to use Inkscape and by using being able to cut these out. And my books. Do you know how I made these? Google Sheets. All I did was create a simulation of a page on one sheet, and then be able to have that output so that way I can save the sheet page as a PDF. I didn't use any complicated software. This is also Google Sheets production. I learned everything. These are all handmade. Well, not handmade, human-made. This was the first result of my Google Sheets experience, so that way I can truly create a random variety. And these are all things that I simply made. And I'm not the most intelligent man. I am just a simple guy who's making things in between working my jobs. The reason why I'm bringing up this issue is because even though I really wish I was one of those successful Kickstarters, crowdfunds, I was one of those types of people who made a product that provided me financial security. I made these because I wanted my game on my shelf. I wanted my game to have a physical existence, even though it's flawed, even though there may be some issues. I made a tabletop products because I wanted to have it in my possession. My grief with the best advice and nuanced advice that I see about making tips and tricks for making tabletop games on YouTube, on the internet, is that you are trying to make a game to be profitable, to make the most money. I understand that everybody has to have, when they focus on turning their hobby into a job, they need everybody else to understand that they need to help support them. I can't afford that. I can't afford to go into debt either through a publisher's advance or a Kickstarter or buying 1,000 copies of a book, a product, buying it from 1,000 copies from a manufacturer, just so that way I can also have it stored in my place and then piecemealed out. I make stuff through print on demand. All of these, except for the books, were made through the Game Crafter. They've helped me realize this dream of having my own games on my shelf. Even though I know that Amazon isn't really resonate with people, I still made these through Amazon because I understand that some people may want to see this, and this is just going to be a novelty thing that's thrown up there that I can easily purchase on my own without having to go into debt. I don't use credit cards. I don't ask people for an advance on money. I wish I could, but I don't. I can't. The people around me can't even afford helping me out. So I make games, I make tabletop stuff for myself. I also ensure that they are available for other people. So that way, if they are interested, they can do that. As far as bad habits, this essentially is my version of a lottery ticket. I am just making lottery tickets that fail and hoping that one will be the ticket to a financial security. All of these do help me out because in the end, I am not as burdened about what if I could have made this game and do that. What if I could have done got a Kickstarter? No, I just made these games for myself, for my shelf. The only blessing that I have is that my father gave me the laptop that helped me make half of those things. I didn't have the money for that. These are the people that I follow to give me insights on how tabletop games work. Pam Wall Games Designs in Canada. Pam Wall, she provides great insight and does regular playtesting and all that. Adam in Wales, Adam Porter does like how to deal with publishers and all that. Dice Geeks, Matt Davis provided one of the key points that I am trying to point out. When you make a game, you have to be in the right mindset of what your goal is for this game. My goal for these is that they just exist. If I wanted to be a publisher, I would have to be in the mindset of going to Adam Porter and then setting up all the stuff, constantly playtesting, constantly trying to spend money to go to conventions, constantly going to traveling around, or even spending money on playtesting. That's how not spending that I am. Pam Wall also tells you to do play tests. All three of them tells you to play test, but Matt Davis tells you the mindset you should have. You have to have a mindset, a goal in mind of who you want this for. If you want this game, if you want your game to make you a lot of money, then you invest that time and effort into providing the best chances you have at making money on a Kickstarter, backer kit, Indiegogo, or any other crowdfunding sources. So that way you can get the best chances at spreading the word for your game on those platforms. I wish I could do that, but I can't. I'm still going to make stuff, but my main goal is to make something that I can put on my shelf. The Game Crafter website provides that the best chance for me to have a product that I made, that I put effort into reality. So I don't have to wait a year and a half down the road after playtesting all that just to be able to afford a credit card's amount of debt cleared out, so that way I can print out a mass production of my game. I wish I can do that, but I can't. I also wish that you to make your own tabletop game. That's my goal for the video. Make a tabletop game. If you can't afford to go out to travel to different places or spend time with friends, if you don't have that kind of cash, still make that game. If you can't afford to go to publishers, make your game. I want you to just make your game so that way you can say, I made this. I made this. I want you to share that feeling. I made this. It may not pay the bills. It may not be able to help out your family members. It may not pay back some debts. And that's why I strongly suggest print-on-demand services for your games. Because I don't want you to go into unsustainable debt for your dream, but I still want you to make your game. If you can, go check out my stuff. I have a website. It'll be up as long as I can afford to have it up. But I want you to at least look at these people. Go to these people's websites. This is all YouTube. These are all regular internet URLs. I want you to make your game.